and welcome back to my channel. As usual, if you're new here, hello, welcome. If you're returning, hey. So as you guys have realized, I've been gone for quite a while. Yeah, so I've just had to take a pause from YouTube altogether due to some personal reasons, but I'm in a better space now to film and gist and talk about what's been going on for the past 6 months. And yeah, let's get straight into this video. So when I spoke to you guys the last time, which was around the beginning of the year, so around February, I was a few months into a new job, which I have now left and started a new one, thinking, what happened, what's going on? We'll get into that in my third video down the line, just to let you know why I needed a change, what was happening, and the current role that I'm working in now. But for today's video, I wanted to speak a bit about what my transition has been like going from a permanent worker to now agency. And let me tell you, nobody can make me go back to being a permanent member of staff. I just love being agency. I love the transition, you know. I just like this new way of doing social work. So for those of you who may be new, you may be thinking, oh, okay, I've just started uni, I wanna go out, and you know, maybe you're already considering going into an agency role. If you don't know, I would say look up the Social Work London Pledge, just so you can get all the information about the changes that came in place, I believe 2 or 3 years ago now, maybe 2 years ago, 2022 I think. And that just tells you about what the pledge is, what the changes have been. Essentially, it was put in place to stop bidding wars against local authorities and different agencies to make a more fairer, I guess, working space in social care. But I would say go and do your research. So I guess I can speak about what my experience has been like. I haven't had the best experience, and I'll tell you why. So when I came out of my permanent role last year around September time, and I was looking for different agencies, obviously I was new to it, I didn't know really what to expect. I just knew that I needed a job, but I have seen some cons to it. So my first experience wasn't the best. I didn't really sign up with the right agency. I was always chasing them for my timesheets. Some weeks, maybe it happened like 3 or 4 times I got paid the following week. So it was like so much drama that I went through with my first agency, and also the umbrella company that I chose. Yeah, it just wasn't the best experience. I didn't really know about vetting umbrella companies to make sure that my tax was being paid. Thankfully, I've escaped HMRC, but the first umbrella company that I was with, they weren't a vetted umbrella company, which meant they weren't doing my taxes properly, and I was getting letters and letters and letters from HMRC. Yeah, it just wasn't a good experience, but I just ran with it for the time being, because at the time I didn't really know that I could have just switched over to a new umbrella company, and I also knew that I was leaving the current or my previous role at the time. Another thing that I've learned since being agency is when you see posts going out, sometimes you can see a job and you can think, oh, you know, they're willing to pay me £42 an hour, for example. Those tend to be the roles that I don't even look twice at, simply because I know that if they're willing to pay you that much, something is going on with that local authority that I just don't want to have any involvement with. A few of the other cons I would say in terms of working as agency is obviously if you're sick, you don't get paid. Bank holidays, you don't get paid. But there are ways around that. I don't think it's the end of the world. And I've also seen as well that some managers use their discretion and they have paid some agency staff. That doesn't happen all the time, but I have seen in some cases, if you have a good manager, they may agree to pay you for some of the days that you are off. What are some of the other cons that I would say to working with agencies? Maybe initially when you're looking for the right agency for you, you're looking for a role, you can get sucked into signing up to about 10 different agencies at once, and that can be quite overwhelming, having different people calling you. Even till now, I'm having different agents call me, hey Sefra, I have this role, and I'm just like, it's at the point I just block people now, because I'm just thinking, if I'm in a job, you know, thankfully I'm with the right agency now, but if I'm in a job, I don't really want to be bothered getting phone calls left, right and center. But one thing I would say is use that to your advantage. So one thing that I've done is I've made sure that I've signed up to different agencies' mailing lists, and that way I get to see what jobs are coming out. So for example, my current agent, they may not see a job that another agency is just released, and then I can get my foot in and say, oh, I've just seen this job come out, could you put me forward? Another thing that I would mention as well is you have to be quite tactful, quite smart when you're thinking of switching roles. So usually as an agency worker, you only have to give a minimum of 3 weeks notice. However, I have seen some agency staff just walk away, just leave their stuff at the desk and just walk away, or seen some that's given 1 week notice. For me personally, unless a job is really killing me, I would always try to give 3 weeks notice, simply because it's in the best interest of the children I'm working with. Unless there's circumstances that don't allow me to do that, I would always try to stick to the 3 weeks notice. Like my last role, I did give them even like 6 weeks. They knew that I was leaving, simply because I wanted to make sure that it was a good handover for my young people. Another thing that I've learned since being agency is that you can stand your ground. So you're thinking like, in terms of what? So I've seen some of my colleagues that may be agency, when it comes to like a service meeting, they may not speak up simply because they're like, oh well, I'm not permanent, you know, like I don't want them to see me as the loud one or the one that has too much of an opinion, so I'm just not going to say anything. But you can speak up, you can stand your ground. You may not be a permanent member of staff, but they need us. They need us more than we need them. Let's just get that out of the way. They need me, they need you, they need us more than we need them. So some staff that I have worked with that have been agency, I've seen where they've kind of held, they've kept their decorum, or they've not mentioned stuff, or they've not, you know, shared a concern that they may have, simply because they're agency staff. Agency staff are also staff, regardless of whether we're permanent or not. Another thing that I've learned since being agency is a lot of people, they can give you the little side eye when they're like, oh, just another agency worker. Like my current role that I will speak about soon, and it's like, oh, you agency, oh, and it's kind of like, oh, let's see how long this one lasts, or oh, you know, like some people don't like agency workers. They have a bit of a, I guess, ideology around agency staff, and oh, they can just come and go and they can just do as they please. But why not? Why not? Why not? You know, like, I'm a qualified social worker. Yes, I'm agency, but we're doing the exact same role. But that's something I have noticed. Like I remember when I started at my last role, and one of the managers said, oh, we want to allocate you this young person who's quite complex, blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh yeah, we heard that you may be permanent. I said, no baby, I'm locum around here. And it was like, oh, and she made a few comments like, we don't think that this young person should be allocated. And I think with managers, it's mainly because they're like, they want to keep stability. But it's like, at the end of the day, even if I'm a permanent member of staff, circumstances can happen, which means that I'm going to leave. So it really doesn't make a difference, in my opinion. Like, because I've got permanent attached to my name, it doesn't mean that I'm more likely to stay. I just don't believe in that, because I've seen staff come in on a permanent contract and leave within a month. So, you know. And another thing that I would mention about transitioning to agency is just money. Like, I have saved the most that I've probably saved in my working life, I would say. Like, your ability to just save, manage your money. I know, like, in the beginning, getting paid weekly, I was kind of just spending loosely. You have to be very disciplined, especially when it comes around annual leave, depending on if you choose to take all of the money or you choose to keep your annual leave in a pot, which is something you could do as well. You have to be very disciplined with your money, because when it's coming in weekly, you think sometimes that you can just be playing with that money until your rent is due, you know? But ultimately, I really enjoyed transitioning from permanent to agency. It's working for me. When it comes to my holidays and stuff, it's just perfect. It don't work, don't get paid. Cool. But yeah, I'm going to speak a bit more about the work-life balance in my next video. So if you haven't already, subscribe. If there's something that you want me to talk about, please leave it in the comment section below. But I'll see you guys for now. Bye.